SUI, one of the most highly anticipated layer 1 since mid last year,
SUI
has just launched its mainnet a few weeks ago on May 3rd. As you may have already heard, SUI has been hyped as it is one of the two main spin-off projects from Meta's abandoned blockchain venture Libra, or Diem, which it was later renamed. It's been called the Ethereum-killer, the Solana-killer, but will it live up to the hype? Well, in this video, we'll give an overview of the project and see what it has to offer. First things first, let's go over SUI's history. SUI Network is developed by Miston Labs and was named after the word sui, meaning water in Japanese philosophy, supposedly for its fluidity and flexibility to adapt to different Web3 use cases. It has raised a total of $336 million over two funding rounds, one in December 2021 and another one more recently in September 2022 last year, from the likes of Andreessen Horowitz, Jump Crypto, Binance Labs, Coinbase Ventures, Circle Ventures, and more. SUI's 5 co-founders consist of ex-Meta employees who played key roles in developing Meta's Diem blockchain and Novi wallet. They are Evan Chang, CEO and previously Director of R&D at Novi Financial and Director of Engineering at Facebook, Adeniyi Abiodun, CPO and ex-product lead for Novi, Sam Blackshear, CTO and ex-principal engineer at Novi Financial, George Denizes, Chief Scientist and ex-research scientist of the Novi team, and Kostas Chalkias, Chief Cryptographer and ex-lead cryptographer at Meta. Phew, so those are some stacked credentials. So what is SUI? SUI is a layer 1 smart contract platform like the many other layer 1s that are out there, albeit with some unique features which we'll get into in a bit. It runs on a delegated proof of stake system and has a rotating set of about 100 validators, which is selected from a current total of about 400 plus nodes distributed globally. This is pretty centralized compared to chains like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Validators also need to put up a minimum staking pool size of 30 million SUI. That's not exactly chump change.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
The SUI blockchain is built using the SUI Move programming language, which is their own modified version of Move. Move itself is a platform-agnostic, open-source programming language based on Rust, which was originally developed at Facebook for building the now abandoned Diem blockchain. Without getting too deep in the weeds, Move is supposed to be a safer and more expressive language than common blockchain languages today like Solidity, and smart contract vulnerabilities which allow exploits like duplication, double spending, or accidental destruction are inherently prevented by the way Move is designed. Aptos is also programmed with Move, while other chains like Solana and Near are coded in Rust. So these could be seen as competition to SUI, at least in terms of developers. SUI's data model in regards to how assets are owned is also unique compared to the EVMs, which is what's widely used by many layer 1s currently. SUI is asset or object-based rather than contract-based. SUI also introduces concepts of owned versus shared objects, which allows for more efficient transaction processing, which is in contrast to most other chains, which essentially only have shared objects. For example, with the EVM approach, when Alice buys token X, what's happening is she sends a transaction to the token smart contract. However, token X does not actually become owned by Alice. Rather, the smart contract simply updates its internal records to state that Alice now owns token X. Therefore, if Alice wants to do a simple transfer of her token X to Bob, she then needs to initiate another transaction with the smart contract, which will then update the ownership record of token X from Alice to Bob. Even though, in theory, Alice is supposed to own token X, this is actually not the case, where ownership is actually trapped with the smart contract. In SUI, this is different. To buy token X, Alice would still send a transaction to token X's smart contract, but now the smart contract then actually sends token X to Alice, whereby token X will then be owned by Alice. Therefore, now if Alice wants to transfer token X to Bob, she can do so directly without having to interact with the smart contract anymore. Owned objects are assets which are owned by a single address, like Alice's token X. Therefore, these can be directly transferred almost instantly between individuals, bypassing consensus and thus uses little network resources. These simple, unrelated transactions can also be processed in parallel, as the specific ordering is not important. Meanwhile, transactions involving shared objects, which belong to multiple addresses, require more resources as they need to be sequenced and thus need validator consensus. Another feature which adds to SUI scalability is that SUI's distributed computing model works something like a traditional cloud service, where validators can add more processing power to the network as transaction volume increases and reduce it when no longer needed, much like how cloud providers can turn more servers on or off to cater to fluctuating loads. This results in the ability for SUI to stabilize and maintain its gas fees at a low level, flattening the wild peaks and troughs of blockchains like Ethereum. According to their latest performance update, the SUI network was able to process from over 10,000 transactions to a whopping 300,000 transactions per second with a 480 millisecond time to finality. However, according to their block explorer, max TPS in the past 30 days was around 1,300, while current transaction processing loads only sit at 7 TPS. As such, there's a long way to go before SUI's claims can be verified in practice. Now, let's quickly look at SUI's tokenomics. SUI has a total and maximum supply of 10 billion. 50% is reserved for the SUI Foundation or community, 20% goes to early contributors, 14% to investors, 10% to the Mysten Labs treasury, and 6% to the community access program and app testers. Currently, only about 5% of the total supply is circulating, with massive unlocks coming later this year in November and another one in May next year. So you might want to watch out for those. Like many other native tokens, SUI is used for paying gas fees for all operations, validator staking, and governance. The SUI directory currently lists 33 projects in its ecosystem spanning DeFi, gaming, NFTs, and more. While there are over 1 million SUI wallet downloads, transaction volume is still low, along with its TVL, which sits at 18.6 million, with just 2 DeFi protocols making up for almost all of this value. Along with the current TPS count, this shows that there's just not all that much activity going on at SUI at the moment. Though, of course, as the market sentiment shifts and attention turns to crypto again, this could change. While there is no official roadmap from SUI, the SUI Foundation and team is working on building out the ecosystem with various grants from developers and academic research, expanding their ambassador program, and improving the Move developer experience to attract builders. Well, that wraps up our quick review of SUI. Tell us in the comments what you think about the project. Do you think it's revolutionary, or do you think it's just another layer one? If you're interested in learning more about SUI's competitor, Aptos, you want to check out our review on it right here.